Hey, shalom to the Akim. First and foremost, start off by giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Shem, Yahweh Shai Ba'Shem Kadash. Double honors to the apostles of GMS. Big ups to the men, women, and children, the house of David. Big ups to the Akim laboring in his truth and sincerity. All right, Yalak Mara off from the Shepherd of Berea camp. Lord willing, it's an edifying lesson. Pretty much, I'm gonna jump straight into it. It's Proverbs 10 and 4 in the NLT. It says, lazy people are soon poor, hard workers get rich. Verse 5, a wise youth harvests in summer, but one who sleepeth during the harvest is a disgrace. So, the Most High said that the harvest is plenty, all right? And that means that there's a lot of work to be put in, all right? And we dealing spiritually. And that plays in brothers' physical mindset and attitude towards things in life. All right. You have to pray for more. There's a lot to be done. All right. To be talking, to be communicating, and to be pushing this truth. And ultimately that gotta be in your spirit. All right. Real quick, I'm gonna get into King James. It says, he becometh poor that dealeth with a slack hand. So let's look up real quick the word poor. And it automatically says spiritually poor, to be poor in spirit. So your hands can make you poor in spirit. And if you poor in spirit, what do you think that's going to happen? That's going to pour out. It says devoid of possessions and conformity with Christian virtues. Okay, we're not Christians, but you get the point. It says poor, wretched. All right, dispossessed. Real quick, let's look these words up. It says deprived of land, property, or other possessions. So you'll start to lose things. You could lose a vehicle, you could lose a house, you could lose an apartment. All right. Now, we're not saying that you could lose your oil spiritually. You could lose your fire in you. You could lose pushing and speaking to people, promoting this truth. You could lose your light, and then ultimately you could lose, physical things before it's time. Okay. We know that a man's life don't consist in his possessions. All right. Physically. But, you have to have a certain spirit to maintain things as well. All right. Well, how you think the kingdom of heaven is going to be operated? It's going to be operated. King David, we was building on this. And King David, we're going to this, Lord willing, King David was able to gain more possessions because of how he took care of the flock. All right. And his intentions. All right. He wasn't poor. He was rich. Okay. It says weak, thin. So being poor is weak. So you could become weak when you producing little, when you're dealing with a slack hand. Let's go into slack. All right. Sometimes it's not that, oh man, I ain't doing it. It's how you doing it. All right. A slack. Let's go into like slack hand. Slacking. Let me just turn this on. Do not disturb real quick. What does it mean? Does it mean to have a slack hand? Let's look this up. It says a person who works carelessly, sloppily, and yes, a little deceitfully. He regularly says, rather than striving to do excellent work, he regularly says good enough. The good enough worker lies to himself that all will be fine, but like the person with no job, he too is headed towards poverty. Wow, check that out. Let's see, slack hand. Careless and inactive. Lacking focus or initiative. And when the initiative is to be taken for the opportunity or however it come to speak to somebody, take the initiative to build another brother up, take the initiative to lead, taking the initiative. All right. When you are taking the initiative, when you are lacking taking the initiative, all right, you're going to become poor in spirit. All right. Careless and inactive. Being inactive, nothing being contributed, nothing being heard from, from a brother to a point where it's, it becomes You know, when you go into poor, it also says to be, pity. You know, it's like somebody got to pity. Hey, everything okay? You know, and that's signs of dealing with a slack hand. All right. And how dealing with that slack hand, just get busy. You know, you wake up, you get busy. You want